Now, let's talk through what are some things that you should, as a homeowner,
Look for.
And I want to put way at the top of the list, school district. If you have kids, I think that you need to consider what school district you're going to put them into. And
I think that's fair. But there's a lot of people out there, me included,
sure,
that it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. However, you're still paying taxes to them.
You are still paying taxes to them. But like if you don't believe that the school district or public schools are going to give your kids the kind of education that you want, it's not going to be as much of a contributing factor.
I agree.
That being said, I think you should still look into it, because I think a lot of people go into homeschooling, go into private schooling with rose-colored glasses on, and end up getting frustrated and burned out and putting their kids back in public school.
Right, exactly. And there could be reasons for that beyond...
Multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Like my friend who passed away, they'd homeschooled their kids for all their lives.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, both parents are gone. The family members that took over raising the kids, they did the best that they could, but like they ultimately ended up putting them back into private and public schools.
Sure.
And so, where you are, and let's be honest, good school districts have better home values.
They do.
At the end of the day.
They do.
So it's not necessarily a philosophical question as it is just like a smart financial question, because if you're in a good school district, your home values are going to be a little bit higher than the other ones that aren't as good as that one.
Without question. And they're going to continue to grow. And so, but I guess part of my point is, okay, let's take public school off the plate. Let's say private school. Well, you still want to be in proximity to the private school you want to be at.
Right.
Like whatever that is. I don't really want to be driving 45 minutes to take my kid to school.
Sure.
One way, So there's that. I think there's also, even with, one of the great things, especially around here, that's really, really grown over the last few years, or maybe 10, are these co-ops. Co-ops are amazing for homeschool kids.
Yeah.
And I'm an advocate. Like if you're going to homeschool your kid, like put them in a co-op. That's amazing. Well, again, research co-ops.
Right.
Like figure out where my kid going to be in an option to be in a co-op that I agree with, that is going to teach the direction that I want to teach. All of those sorts of things. So I still think that even if the public school isn't the thing for you, there are still school considerations that you need to think through.
Yeah. So like for us, my daughter is starting high school next year.
Yeah.
But she's going to a hybrid school. So she's only going to school Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So like it's a 30-minute drive to the school that she's going to, but it's 2 days a week.
Can do that.
That's no problem.
Sure. Especially the direction it's going is toward where you have to go most of the time. Anyway.
Most of the time, yeah. Like we're going to be
not always.
Next year's going to be a little bit different because our oldest is going to a different school than our youngest.
Right.
And our younger two go to a hybrid school as well. It's just going to be a different hybrid school.
Right.
So it's it's going to get a little complicated.
Yeah.
But they're well within driving distance. Look, in Houston, if you got to drive 30 minutes,
that's nothing.
It's nothing.
I got to go to the grocery store. It's that far. It feels like it.
Yeah. No. I think that's a lot of people's experience around here. Like, and a lot of people don't understand that about Houston, and I think Dallas is a lot the same way.
When I lived in Dallas, it was the same way. Now, when I lived in Little Rock, not the same.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Little Rock is a lot tighter.
It is.
But like Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, sprawling.
Oh yeah, they really are.
So San Antonio's kind of becoming that way too.
It is, especially if you live in like Bernie or some of these places. Yep. It's like, goodness gracious, you could be driving a ways.
So yeah, I do agree with you that school should be a strong consideration, especially if you think that your kids are going to need additional help, like our friend. She's having to deal with that now, and that sucks.
It really does.
And because once you buy the house, you're
stuck.
And if you've been there any amount of time, you're embedded.
You are.
And you don't want to it seems silly to want to move to just go 20 minutes down the road to change school districts.
Yep.
Which is how it can happen. Also, school districts in Texas are weird. Most people like unless if you've lived in Texas your whole life, it just seems normal. But school districts in Texas are weird.
Yeah.
They're independent.
Yes, they are.
And so each one can be vastly different from the other one.
Oh yeah. Very, very much so.
So they're not as regulated by the state as they are in other states.